this kid I'm ready for a fight. Punch my face, do it 'cause I like the pain. Every time you curse my name, I know you want the satisfaction. It's not gonna happen. Knock me out, kick me when I'm on the ground. It's only gonna let you down. Come the lightning and the thunder, you're the one who suffer. Well, I squared him up, left my chest exposed. He threw a quick left hook and it broke my nose. I had thick red blood running down my clothes and a sick look, 'cause I liked it though. I said I didn't want trouble, I'm the boy in the bubble. But then came trouble, and my heart was pumping, chest was screaming, mind was running, nose was bleeding. Put my hands up, I told this kid I'm ready for a fight. Punch my face, do it 'cause I like the pain. Every time you curse my name, I know you want the satisfaction. It's not gonna happen. Knock me out, kick me when I'm on the ground. It's only gonna let you down. Come the lightning and the thunder, you're the one who suffered. At 6:48 he was walking home with the blood on his hands from a broken nose. But like every other day he was scared to go back to his house 'cause his pops was home, drowning his troubles in whiskey bubbles, just looking for trouble. Well, there's no excuse for the things he did, but there's a lot at home that he's dealing with, 'cause his dad's been drunk since he was a kid. And I hope one day that I'll say to him, put down those bubbles and that belt buckle in this broken bubble. Punch my face, do it 'cause I like the pain. Every time you curse my name, I know you want the satisfaction. It's not gonna happen. Knock me out, kick me when I'm on the ground. It's only gonna let you down. Come the lightning and the thunder, you're the one who suffer. Outrunning karma, that boy, he's such a charmer. All the bugs and their larvae follow him out to Colorado. 10 dozen hearts in a bag, their bodies lying, he'll drag them down to Colorado. A modern desperado, and he'll race for miles through the night. He runs because he knows he cannot hide. He's never gonna make it. All the poor people he's forsaken. Karma is always gonna chase him for his lies. It's just a game of waiting, from the church steeple down to Satan. Karma, there's really no escape until he dies. She was 19 with a baby on the way. On the east side of the city, she was working every day, cleaning dishes in the evening. She could barely stay awake. She was clinging to the feeling that her luck was gonna change. And across town, she would take the bus at night to a one-bedroom apartment. And when she turned on the lights, she would sit down at the table, tell herself that it's alright. She was waiting on the day she hoped a baby would arrive. She'd never be alone, have someone to hold. And when nights were cold, she'd say, the world's not perfect, but it's not that bad if we got each other, and that's all we have. I will be your mother and I'll hold your hand. You should know I'll be there for you when the world's not perfect, when the world's not kind. If we have each other, then we'll both be fine. I will be your mother and I'll hold your hand. You should know I'll be there for you. They were 90 and were living at the days on the west side of the city, next to where they got engaged. They had pictures on the walls of all the memories that they made. And though life is never easy, they were thankful that they stayed with each other. And though sometimes were hard, even when she made him angry, he would never break her heart. No, they didn't have the money to afford a fancy car, but they never had to travel cause they never be apart. Even at the end, their love was stronger than the day that they first met. They'd say, the world's not perfect, but it's not that bad if we got each other, and that's all we have. I will be your lover and I'll hold your hand. You should know I'll be there for you when the world's not perfect, when the world's not kind. If we have each other, then we'll both be fine. I will be your lover and I'll hold your hand. You should know I'll be there for you. You should know I'll be there for you. I'm 23 and my folks are getting old. I know they don't have forever and I'm scared to be alone. So I'm thankful for my sister, even though sometimes we fight. When high school wasn't easy, she's the reason I survived. I know she never leave me and I hate to see her cry. So I wrote this verse to tell her that I'm always by her side. I wrote this verse to tell her that I'm always by her side. I wrote this verse to tell her that the world's not perfect, but it's not that bad if we got each other, and that's all we have. I will be your brother and I'll hold your hand. You should know I'll be there for you when the world's not perfect, when the world's not kind. If we have each other, then we'll both be fine. I will be your brother and I'll hold your hand. You should know I'll be there for you. You should know I'll be there for you. Well, I shook hands with the devil down on the south side, and he bought us both a drink. With a pad and a pencil sat by his side, I said, tell me what you think. I've been looking for my savior, looking for my truth. I even asked my shrink, he brought me down to his level. Said, son, you're not special, you won't find him where you think. You won't find him down on Sunset, or at a party in the hills, at the bottom of the bottle, or when you're tripping on some pills. When they sold you the dream, you were just 16, packed a bag and ran away. And it's a crying shame you came all this way, cause you won't find Jesus in LA. And it's a crying shame you came all this way, cause you won't find Jesus in LA. Took a sip of his whiskey, said, now that you're with me, well, I think that you should stay. Yeah, I know you've been busy searching through the city, so let me share the weight. I know I'm not your savior, no, I'm not your truth, but I think we could be friends. He said, come down to my level, hang out with the devil. Let me tell you, in the end, you won't find him down on Sunset, or at a party in the hills, at the bottom of the bottle, or when you're tripping on some pills. When they sold you the dream, you were just 16, packed a bag and ran away. And it's a crying shame you came all this way, cause you won't find Jesus in LA. And it's a crying shame you came all this way, cause you won't find Jesus in LA. And that is when I knew that it was time to go home. And that is when I realized that I was alone. And all the vibrant colors from the lights fade away, and I don't care what they say. sunset, or at a party in the hills, at the bottom of the bottle, or when you're tripping on some pills. When they sold you the dream, you were just 16, packed a bag and ran away. And it's a crying shame you came all this way, cause you won't find Jesus in LA. I won't find him down on Sunset, or at a party in the hills, at the bottom of the bottle, or when I'm tripping on some pills. When they sold me the dream, I was just 16, packed my bag and ran away. And it's a crying shame I came all this way, cause I won't find Jesus in LA. And it's a crying shame I came all this way, cause I won't find Jesus in LA. There's gotta be a reason that I'm here on earth. Gotta be a reason for the dust and the dirt. The changing of the seasons never changed my hurt. So what's it worth? What's it worth? Worth another shot of whiskey and another sip of gin, another drop of poison that is slowly sinking in. If we're going down together, better take another hit. We won't be here forever, so let's make the best of it. Ooh, walking down to the burial ground with a sad song in his brain. General Cloud is an old man now, but it feels like yesterday. He was on the front line, stranded on the beach, crawling to his best friend, floating in the sea. But he didn't make it, he still can't believe how arbitrary fate is. He says, there's gotta be a reason that I'm here on earth. Gotta be a reason for the dust and the dirt. The changing of the seasons never changed my hurt. So what's it worth? What's it worth? Worth another shot of whiskey and another sip of gin, another drop of poison that is slowly sinking in. If we're going down together, better take another hit. We won't be here forever, so let's make the best of it. She went down to her job in town with a sad song in her heart. 33 with a wasted dream to become a movie star. Living out a suitcase, serving at a bar, saving up some pennies, working after dark. Is she gonna make it? She still can't believe how arbitrary fate is. She says, there's gotta be a reason that I'm here on earth. Gotta be a reason for the dust and the dirt. The changing of the seasons never changed my hurt. So what's it worth? What's it worth? Worth another shot of whiskey and another sip of gin, another drop of poison that is slowly sinking in. If we're going down together, better take another hit. We won't be here forever, so let's make the best of it. There's gotta be a reason that I'm here on earth. Gotta be a reason for the dust and the dirt. The changing of the seasons never changed my hurt. So what's it worth? What's it worth? Worth another shot of whiskey and another sip of gin, another drop of poison that is slowly sinking in. If we're going down together, better take another hit. We won't be here forever, so let's make the best of it. Looking at the pictures I keep on my shelf, cause it's been so long since I've looked like myself. Burn another candle down, burn another candle down. Running low on patience, running now on fumes. I'm never gonna make it halfway to the moon, but it's too late to turn around. But it's too late to turn around. I'm running out of oxygen. I'll never be the same again now. Same again now. Oh my God, I can't remember who I was just last December. What have I done? How did I get here? What have I done? was homeward bound. I wish that I was homeward bound. I'm searching for a signal, holding out my phone. Have I gone too far? Am I on my own? No one here to hold me now. No one here to hold me now. I'm running out of oxygen. Can't help but wish I stayed. I'm lost just like Will Robinson, a rocket man in space. Oh my God, I can't remember who I was just last December. What have I done? How did I get here? What have I done? Oh my God, look in the mirror, I was young, nothing to fear once. What have I done? How did I get here? What have I done? Oh my God, I can't remember who I was just last December. Who I was just last December. Oh my God. Oh my God, look in the mirror, I was young, nothing to fear once. What have I done? How did I get here? What have I done? I don't live in California, I'll inform you that's not where I reside. I'm just a tenant paying rent inside this body, and I got two windows, and those windows, well, I call them my eyes. I'm just going where the wind blows, I don't get to decide. Sometimes I think too much, yeah, I get so caught up. I'm always stuck in my head. I wish I could escape, I tried to yesterday. Took all the sheets off my bed. Then I tied up my linen with 5 strips of ribbon I found. Scaled the side of the building, I ran to the hill so they found me. And they put me back in my cell, all by myself, alone with my thoughts again. Guess my mind is a prison and I'm never gonna get out. So they tranquilized me, analyzed me, threw me back in my cage. Then they tied me to an ivy, told me I was insane. I'm a prisoner, a visitor inside of my brain. And no matter what I do, they try to keep me in chains. Sometimes I think too much, yeah, I get so caught up. I'm always stuck in my head. I wish I could escape, I tried to yesterday. Took all the sheets off my bed. Then I tied up my linen with 5 strips of ribbon I found. Scaled the side of the building, I ran to the hill so they found me. And they put me back in my cell, all by myself, alone with my thoughts again. Guess my mind is a prison and I'm never gonna get out. Said even if it's true, no matter what I do, I'm never gonna escape. I won't give up on hope, secure another rope and try for another day. Said even if it's true, no matter what I do, I'm never gonna escape. I won't give up on hope, secure another rope and try for another day. Then I tied up my linen with 5 strips of ribbon I found. Scaled the side of the building, I ran to the hill so they found me. And they put me back in my cell, all by myself, alone with my thoughts again. Guess my mind is a prison and I'm never gonna get out. It's been 17 days since you left, 20 hours and 30 minutes. Count the seconds, every breath, and watch the road roll out like ribbon. And maybe she just can't forget all the miles they have driven since the moment that they met. He took her heart into his hands, turned into ashes, slipped through his fingers. It tore him apart, and he couldn't stand watching the magic turn into cinders. So when you pull away, don't let the memories blind you. All of the things you chase, falling away behind you, is something you can't replace. Chained to the love that binds you. Don't let the past remind you she's the last of her kind. The last of her kind. The last of her kind. It's been 23 days since they spoke, and he almost sent a postcard. And every sentence that he wrote etched like tombstones on a graveyard. And maybe he just can't accept all the strings that needed changing, the mistakes that he was making. He took her heart into his hands, turned into ashes, slipped through his fingers. It tore him apart, and he couldn't stand watching the magic turn into cinders. So when you pull away, don't let the memories blind you. All of the things you chase, falling away behind you, it's something you can't replace. Chained to the love that binds you. Don't let the past remind you she's the last of her kind. The last of her kind. He took her heart into his hands, turned into ashes, slipped through his fingers. It tore him apart, but he couldn't stand watching the magic turn into cinders. So when you pull away, don't let the memories blind you. All of the things you chase, falling away behind you, is something you can't replace. Chained to the love that binds you. Don't let the past remind you she's the last of her kind. The last of her kind. The last of her kind. I heard glass shatter on the wall in the apartment above mine. At first I thought that I was dreaming, but then I heard the voice of a girl and it sounded like she'd been crying. Now I'm too worried to be sleeping, so I took the elevator to the second floor, walked down the hall and then I knocked upon her door. She opened up and I asked about the things I've been hearing. She said, I think your ears are playing tricks on you. Sweater zipped up to her chin. Thanks for caring, sir, that's nice of you, but I have to go back in. Wish I could tell you about the noise, but I didn't hear a thing. She said it must have been the wind, must have been the wind, must have been the wind, it must have been the wind. She said it must have been the wind, must have been the wind, must have been the wind, it must have been the wind. So I was laying on the floor in my room, cold concrete on my back. No, I just couldn't shake the feeling. I didn't want to intrude cause I knew that I didn't have all the facts, but I couldn't bear the thought of leaving her. So I took the elevator to the second floor, walked down the hall and then I knocked upon her door. She opened up and I asked about the things I've been hearing. She said, I think your ears are playing tricks on you. Sweater zipped up to her chin. Thanks for caring, sir, that's nice of you, but I have to go back in. Wish I could tell you about the noise, but I didn't hear a thing. She said it must have been the wind, must have been the wind, must have been the wind, it must have been the wind. She said it must have been the wind, must but she knows that she can lean on me. And when she hears the words, I hope she knows she'll be okay. Aim my boombox at the roof and play lean on me, just so that she knows that she can lean on me. And when she hears the words, I know exactly what I'll say. Promise I'm not playing tricks on you. You're always welcome to come in. You could stay here for an hour or two if you ever need a friend. We can talk about the noise when you're ready, but till then, I'll say it must have been the wind, must have been the wind, must have been the wind, it must have been the wind. I'll say it must have been the wind, must have been the wind, must have been the wind, it must have been the wind. Well, my manager rang and said, I hate to break the news, but the label called today. They said they have to cut you loose. I felt broken like a vase that had fallen from the roof. Tears rolling down my face, Lord, what am I to do? I felt pain in my life so far, a fractured wrist and a broken heart. But this is sure to leave a nasty scar, one that might not heal. So I said, this is the worst day of my life. It's the worst day of my life. And I don't know how I'll survive. It's the worst day of my life. I'll admit it's a struggle, finding light in the tunnel. This is the worst day of my life. It's the worst day of my life. Well, I gave up my degree and I moved away from home. I was following a dream, now there's nowhere I can go. So I called up my mom and I was bawling on the phone. I was acting like a child, but I was all the way grown. I felt pain in my life so far, a fractured wrist and a broken heart. But this is sure to leave a nasty scar, one that might not heal. So I said, this is the worst day of my life. It's the worst day of my life. And I don't know how I'll survive. It's the worst day of my life. I'll admit it's a struggle, finding light in the tunnel. This is the worst day of my life. It's the worst day of my life. So I thought to myself that now it's time to choose. I can pick myself up or I can give into the blues. So I swore in my heart that I was never gonna lose. I would crawl until I made it, cause I've got something to prove. I felt pain in my life so far, a fractured wrist and a broken heart. But this is sure to leave a nasty scar, one that might not heal. So I said, this is the worst day of my life. It's the worst day of my life. And I don't know how I'll survive. It's the worst day of my life. I'll admit it's a struggle, finding light in the tunnel. This is the worst day of my life. It's the worst day of my life. When I was 15 in my parents' house, I met a good girl when school got out, and I was too scared to tell her how I loved her still. Well, I loved her still, I loved her still, I loved her still. Well, we grew up and we both moved out. We went to different schools in different towns. And is it too late to tell you now I love you still? Well, I love you still, I love you still, I love you still. Mistakes I made when I was younger, and it's too late to discover love at the end of the summer, at the end of the summer. And there are times that I wonder, is it too late to discover love at the end of the summer, at the end of the summer, summer, summer. Well, I think back every now and then, so I can sit back and just pretend that when you call me I will tell you how I feel. And I never will, I never will, I love you still, I love you still, I love you still, I love you still. Mistakes I made when I was younger, and it's to think you think of me, and every night before I sleep, I'd like to think you think of a thing that we should think of. And do you ever think of mistakes I made when I was younger, and it's too late to discover love at the end of the summer, at the end of the summer. And there are times that I wonder, is it too late to discover love at the end of the summer, at the end of the summer? Mistakes I made when I was younger, and it's too late to discover love at the end of the summer, at the end of the summer. And there are times that I wonder, is it too late to discover love at the end of the summer, at the end of the summer, summer, summer. Gabriel, the oldest son, he praised the Lord and married young, became a priest and at confession, cured the people of transgression. Gabriel, he held the weight of everybody's toxic waste, and with the load upon his shoulder, couldn't sleep as he got older. Oh, what it means to be someone that everybody has to talk to, everybody has to talk to. Oh, our Gabriel, he had no one that he could talk to. Gabriel, he had no one that he could talk to. Looking for a place to be, or some place he could hide his grief, Gabriel ran to the beach and set out for the open sea. Heaved the baggage from the sands aboard the vessel with his hands, and when he couldn't see the land, released their sins on his command. Oh, what it means to be someone that everybody has to talk to, everybody has to talk to. Oh, our Gabriel, he had no one that he could talk to. Gabriel, he had no one that he could talk to. As the problem slowly drifted, all the weight was quickly lifted from his back into the sea. He finally felt he was free. When he got home after months, sat down and waited for lunch, he looked down at an empty dish, 'cause all their sins had killed the fish. Oh, what it means to be someone that everybody has to talk